Thank you for joining us today. CIP Differently, the power of using visualized intellectual property strategy and intelligence to guide molecular research and drug discovery. That's what I'll be talking to you about today. I'm Kevin Brown from Accencio. I'm Accencio's president and CEO. And thank you to our friends at Chemaxon for inviting us to their user meeting on today. From an agenda perspective, we'll go through medicinal chemistry through the lens of IP. You'll notice that we call all of our visualizations lenses. You'll see why in just a few minutes. But we'll talk about Accencio solution, why visualize IP intelligence is so important, and then really talk about our IP geoscape lens and some use cases. IP geoscape is a molecular landscaping tool that we've created. And then we'll go into real world examples of how these landscapes can be used, and specifically around COVID-19. Everyone's interested in that now. Accencio has a COVID-19 initiative, and I'll show you, talk to you a bit about that, how IP geoscape fits into that, and how Chem Curators, or at least the Chemaxon Chem Curator tool, has really impacted the work that we've done in the past, and specifically with our COVID-19 project, and then a bit about where we're headed. So our backstory: I'm Kevin Brown again, and my background is in medicinal chemistry and law. My partner, who you see there, Kevin Brogel, whose background is in computational chemistry. We spent the majority of our career together in medicinal chemistry in an R&D environment, where we were really responsible for helping the MedChem group do the work that they were doing more effectively, compiling information that they needed, but also helping that group liaise with the rest of the organization, whether that be the legal department, business development, even other R&D groups, pharmacology, biology, it doesn't matter. And one of the things we would always run into was the issue of really gathering all the information and putting it in a way that was really useful, but not overly burdensome to us or to the end users who needed to see the information. And what we developed over time, or the solutions that we began to explore, were really built around moving away from the Excel files and the other traditional methods of really delivering a bunch of information to something that was more visual. And where we ended up, and really what makes Accencio today unique, is that we've created a way of viewing the world through what we call an IP lens. So that's answering every question, looking at every bit of data, whether it's intelligence data, whether it's legal data, whether it's biology, it doesn't matter. Looking at everything and driving answers by creating and using what we call IP lenses. So how do we create these lenses? Well, what we do, once we've identified any specific area of interest, right? So it could be a biological target, an enzyme, an ion channel, whatever area the customer is really asking the question about, we create a visualization that illustrates the similarity between the IP of interest in that space. And once we've done that, we then add in any additional information that's necessary. So really, if we're answering an R&D question, you get R&D information, you get other potentially some scientific information, but the question could be BD, right? So we could bring in business development information, financial information, doesn't matter, completely data agnostic, but a lens where we add in secondary information as necessary, and then that packaged product is used by us to support our customers, or independently by our customers to help them answer the various questions that they have. So specific to this discussion, and I said I would mention our IP Geoscape tool, It's a visual landscape of molecular IP space, and it shows the structural relationships between molecules. That's what this is. That is the lens. And again, any information can be added to it. That's what makes it multidimensional and interactive. And that information can come from publicly available sources, or it could come from the client specifically and be private to them. But any information can be added to it. So here's a case study. In this particular instance, the medicinal chemists were supporting business development and legal, right? So the idea here was the client was really interested in finding a partner for one of its programs that were being ended. They were going through a restructuring and really engaged us to try to help them find a partner, preferably a joint venture. So again, the IP geoscape output, this is what it looked like at the time that we did this evaluation. How do we build this again? We identify all the players in a particular space, everyone with active IP in the space. We extract the small molecule information, we stick it into our IP geoscape tool, and this is the visualization that pops out. Let me explain to you what you're looking at. Each color here represents a specific company. So our client's IP at the time is this brown color. So anywhere you see brown on this landscape or on this map is our client's small molecule IP in this area. Each marking represents one specific company compound. Now, at the time we did this, there were over 31,000 individual molecules exemplified in this space. The shape and the color that those molecules or that those markings take, further represents a specific molecule being disclosed in a particular patent or patent application. I've circled, for example purposes, this light blue triangle. So that light blue triangle represents that this particular molecule was disclosed in this particular patent application at the time. It's been anonymized for obvious reasons. And for further example purposes, if you look up and to the right, you see another light blue triangle. That would be the same patent application, but a different molecule. So how does the map build itself? Compounds are clustered together based on structural similarity. I've circled one of those closely packed groupings of individual markers. So that means that all those molecules in that space are very similar structurally. And then the map builds itself out by situating closely packed groups of molecules next to one another, also based on structural similarity. And you get something that looks like this. And as an aside for all my medicinal chemistry friends, what we would do when we first created this for medicinal chemistry purposes, we would fill in these black spaces with new molecular entities based on the surrounding clusters of molecules to create new IP and to guide R&D. But for this specific project, which was interesting for us because it wasn't an R&D project, it was actually a medicinal chemist helping legal and helping business development individuals, we use this map in a different way. So what did we do? I'll show you. For example, we took every individual company that was a part of that map and we did this type of evaluation. If you look here, you're looking at company number one. This is a potential licensing partner for our client in the space. And you look at their footprint in this map as compared to our clients, again, which is brown. So anywhere you see the brown, that's our client's IP. And you could see when you do a temporal evaluation, when this company number one entered the space, when their IP began to publish, how their footprint grew over time, everything that was happening with them. And what was really interesting is that we noticed in some later publishing applications from this company number one, there was some significant overlap between our client's IP and this company number one. And we also knew that company number one had a clinical candidate which sat here structurally on the map, and our client's clinical candidate sat over here in the middle of the map. Now, ultimately, even though all of this was true, this particular company did not do a deal with our client. And it was for other reasons. Our client's clinical candidate was restricted to the periphery, whereas this particular company was looking for something that was centrally acting. What I will tell you is that this map allowed us to get in the door and even get those conversations started to see if there was an opportunity. But I am happy to say, and I'll show you as I walk through this here, that our client wound up doing a deal with this company here. This was a smaller company that we identified, and you can see how their footprint was established and how their IP grew in the area over time. And we noticed some significant overlap, especially with this particular company and their later publishing applications. And one thing that we picked out very quickly after some infringement analysis is that this company number two was actually making and exemplifying molecules in their patent applications that were covered by some of the claims of our clients' older patent applications, or older patents, excuse me. So we went to this company number two with this information. We actually walked through this map, just like I'm walking you through it now. And those conversations were started and progressed fairly quickly, and a JV agreement with company number two was the result. So this was a win for us and a win for our client using these molecular landscapes, or this IP geoscape tool. So in terms of the overall creation of the IP geoscape and its use, this is really how we break it down into 5 separate steps. And I really want to explain to you this process so you understand what goes into these maps. So if there's a target that's identified, whatever the relevant biological target is, we identify it, or it's given to us. We find all the patents or patent applications associated with that particular target, and we extract the relevant structural information or claims information, whatever the case may be. Once we get that information extracted from the patents, we then send it into our IP geoscape tool, and the algorithms there really create the output, which is the landscape. If there's any secondary information that needs to be added, it's added. And that's what the end user uses at the end of the day to drive the answers to their various questions. I bring up this process to really help you understand and to drive home the point that for us, and I mentioned this in the agenda, ChemCurator is a very valuable tool for this extraction process from the patents that we've identified. And I think in the example I'm getting ready to show you, that you'll see the very important role that tool plays. So I mentioned in the beginning that Accencio is in the process of undertaking a COVID-19 project with some of its partners. As a matter of fact, Chemaxon is one of those partners. And what we're doing for this particular project is really using our IP geoscape technology to drive 2 specific initiatives. One is retargeting, identifying existing molecules that can be retargeted to the COVID-19 pandemic. These are our clinical stage or even marketed molecules that may be useful for the COVID-19 effort. And also on the new molecule side, it's allowing researchers to use our IP geoscapes that we create at no charge to them to really help them drive some of their research efforts in the targets that we've identified that are associated with COVID-19. So here, if you look to the right, you'll see a table that shows the initial targets that we're currently analyzing, and in some cases we finished analyzing. And you can see they range from viral replication targets all the way down to cytokine storm targets. But the important point about this slide is really to show you the value of Chem Curator, because for us, if you look to the right here, the total number of patents, we were looking at trying to extract on our own or buy uh, thousands of molecules from a large number of patents to be able to create our IP geoscapes. This was cost prohibitive, and doing this extraction on our own very time prohibitive. But with Chem Curator and using that tool to do this, it really allowed us to get from point A to point B and to begin to deliver on this project in a way that was really, really efficient for us. So you can see here this third bullet, which literally speaks to the fact that our extraction times are now reduced by over 95% as compared to the manual methods that we would use in the past. So I can't speak to the efficiency and the usefulness of the product enough. And we thank our friends at ChemAxon for participating in this with us. And also we really appreciate their product. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, one thing I did want to show you, since we do have a little bit of time, is really what one of these may look like. Some of the medicinal chemists may be interested in it. So let me just jump out really quickly and show you, for example, TLR7 antagonists and what that map looks like, and what some of you medicinal chemists who are working in the space would be given free access to and have the ability to see. So this is TLR7 agonist. You can see what this map looks like. There's a competitive overview. You can really understand who's doing what and where. Every company operating in the space, the amount of IP, when they begin to publish, the landscape itself, and all the molecules associated with the companies, everything being active, really doing your substructure searching here, filling in the black spaces with new molecules, driving your research further. All of these things are possible. I won't dig too much into this map right now, except to say that at some point soon, this will be available to those that are interested. And you'll see down here at the bottom, you can go to our COVID-19 page, where you'll have the ability to engage us on this front. And if you're interested in access, you'll be able to reach out to us for that. So in wrapping up, where we're headed, how we see IP in the future, ours is really an exercise in building what we're calling a smart repository of targeted IP data, right? That's visualized and fully automated, excuse me. It's IP intelligence delivered in a way that's not really available today. And we're going to be doing this across multiple markets. So I won't read this entire statement, but that's where we see ourselves going in the future. And we look forward to engaging all of you at some point. With that being said, thank you again to our friends at ChemAxon, and have a great day.